hello everyone. We are here to play some Werewolf the Apocalypse. This is our first session. I'm Rick. I'm normally the game master for Hammer the Gods. Today I am the storyteller, and I'm going to let my players introduce themselves, whoever wants to go first. If you want to tell us who you are, where we can find you, and who you're playing.
I guess I'll go first. My name is Jeremy. You can find me on DM_Jeremy here on Twitch or over at Old Men Rolling Dice on Instagram. I'm going to be playing John Holt, or Stalks the Worm, as his Garou name is. And he is one of the Gale Stalkers. That's his tribe, and his auspice is Arun. And yeah. Do you want more than that?
I mean, whatever you feel like sharing. We'll probably get into more of it.
Yeah, well, he's a cop, but he's sort of on leave. He had a tragic incident, of course, because World of Darkness, and he's still sort of on leave from that.
Out of curiosity, was the tragic incident his first change?
It was his first change, yes, which didn't
That
go.
makes sense.
It did not go as intended. Yeah, bad stuff happened.
As it tends to do, like you said, World of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, and Sophia.
Hiya, I'm Sophia, and this miscreant cat is Donna Spellcaster. And you can find me at Rock Chick Sophia on Twitch, on TikTok, on pretty much all the socials. And I will be playing Amira. Her Garou name is Forges the Links, and she is a Ghost Council Galliard. And her background is kind of investigation, reporting, kind of schmoozing a little bit with bureaucrats to find out information and that fun stuff. She's pretty much supposed to be the talky person of the party.
Yeah, I was gonna say typical Galliard, or if we're looking at other systems, the Bard kind of. All right, so we have set our game in the city of Detroit. Specifically, will be kind of centered more or less around the cairn for your pack, which is the old Packard plant. This several acre, large, decaying building that your sept has started to kind of reclaim, let nature take it back and restore it to its previous ways. And that would be more or less in the neighborhood of Gratiot Town. As you said, Jeremy, your character was a police officer, so you still have some contacts. And currently, your pack leader is MIA. You all were supposed to be gathering at a local bar, because you got a call from a contact of yours saying that they had something for you that they needed off the books.
Okay.
So you make your way to Ma's place, a local dive bar. And there you find your old buddy, whose name, of course, I didn't write down. I just have it. Gus Simmons.
Okay.
And he didn't want to say anything over the phone, but he's waiting at the bar, and when he sees you and Amira walk in, orders around from Ma, suggests that you guys take a booth.
Sorry, his name is Gus Simmons, you said. And
Yes.
Is he also a police officer, or?
He is. He's a beat cop. So, he hears things, but doesn't have a lot of pull.
But he's not aware of that we're what we are.
Correct. He knows
Okay.
that you since you've been on medical leave, you've been still kind of puttering around doing some off the books kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I assume that, Amira being a little bit of an investigative type, you might have somewhat of a reputation. Maybe not famous or infamous, but at least in the neighborhood, people might know you.
Yeah, little column A, a little column B from the thing. And Agni has hit us with a hydrate.
Damn it, Agni.
I am unable to comply. Reason? Cat.
I'll allow it. So, as he pulls you into this booth, he says, "So, I didn't want to say anything over the phone, you know how it is, but there's some people missing. There's a horticulture club, I guess you could say, that they bought up some land they were trying to, I guess, restore. And there have been a lot of calls. PD's not really done anything about it, but people are starting to get worried in the neighborhood. And I figured maybe it's something you could look into."
Horticulture club, like a community gardening thing or something?
He explains that they had bought up a tract of land that used to be kind of a rundown area, place where people would camp and gather. Sometimes people would go there to get high. It was pretty sketchy, and the goal of it was to maybe make like a park, kind of reclaim the wilderness that used to be here a long time ago. And they've made some pretty good progress in the last 6 months to a year. It's still fenced off. It's not really open for the public as of yet, but you probably would have seen some of the comings and goings and all the people bringing plants and construction, more or less.
So how many people are missing?
Well,
So how many people are missing?
there's been about 5, in the last week. And more before that. I'm not entirely sure if they're connected. They were a little bit more loosely affiliated, but he explains that
They're
there was a change.
legitimately missing? Like there's no bodies been found or anything like that?
Nothing's been found. He explains that there was kind of a change in leadership around a year ago, from what he's been told, that a new head of the club had taken over, a Muller. And it kind of started out innocuous, but as time went on, he got more ambitious. They started, from the community gardens and things like that, buying up larger and larger plots of land, trying to, greenify the urban area, get rid of the Rust Belt eyesores. But with that change in leadership, he attracted a lot of new members, and as tends to happen, not everybody liked him very much. It seems like maybe he kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. So they brought in a lot of new people, but also chased some off.
Do we have a name for the leader? The new leader?
Yeah, Muller. Yeah, he says his name is Rickard Muller.
Okay.
Would that name have cropped up in any of my investigations, dalliances?
I mean, you probably would have at least passingly heard of him. I would let you roll see how much you know. Let's see. What would be a good roll? And if you have any suggestions, Sophia, based on your skills.
Part of me wants to say either intelligence or wits and insight.
Yeah, whichever of intelligence or wits is better, and insight. Yeah, that works for me.
They're the same. So that's what, 5d10 for me. It's 3 intelligence and 2 insight.
Perfect.
Okay. Unfortunately, I do not have enough d10s physically right now because I need to find my bag. So I shall do it the virtual way. Go. And what's my general target for the rolls?
We'll say 2 successes.
Okay.
Oh, wait. 6 or above.
I got a 10. It was I got 2 4s, 2 4s, a 3 and a 1 and a 10.
Okay, so
One success.
yeah, you've heard the name. You kind of know the same kind of information that you just got, that had been kind of ambitious, brought in some new people, but also chased off some old people from the club.
Does Gus know where to find him?
He is one of the missing people.
Oh.
Nobody's seen them in at least a few days.
And what's in it for us?
Well, general public safety, I suppose. You know, you may not be on the payroll right now, but
Exactly. I'm supposed to be get time off and have a little rest and relaxation and
yeah, but you know how it is. You know, can't sit around for too long. Nobody likes to just putter around and do nothing.
be nice if we were getting some cash on the side, but fair enough.
Yeah, investigative journalism doesn't pay all that much unless you uncover a big racket.
Well, he does mention the guy had some ambition at one point. Yeah, he ran for political office a few different times, but never was successful. So, who knows? Maybe there's more to it than meets the eye.
Okay. Do we know where these plots are?
Yeah, it's one big plot. They had kind of bought up as much as they could in one area, so it's just one that they've kind of combined together.
Okay.
But you know the general area.
Out of interest, when you say horticultural club, are we talking about a weed plantation?
It is not. No, it's not a marijuana growing operation. This is legit, and this is also like clearly something that they, you would have passed it at some point, I'm sure. You can see that they are growing trees for shade and for fruit, things like that. Clearly putting in some park-like features, but mostly trying to keep it a little bit more wild. And you would know that the city has been working on things like this. There's the Riverside Park that is pretty extensive. There's, wildlife refuges out in the middle of the river. The various islands, a lot of them have been converted into refuge for wildlife. So this is a thing that has been kind of going around the city.
Yeah, the only reason I ask is because the proliferation of legal pot shops in Michigan, especially downtown areas.
Yeah,
Couldn't hurt to ask.
I did notice that whenever I was doing my research. There were quite a few dispensaries in Gratiot, but you know.
Okay. We'll check it out.
Okay. So you all make your way to the plot of land. It looks pretty uninteresting from the outside. There's a chain link fence, nothing too intense. There's no guards, seemingly. It's pretty quiet.
Is there a gate?
There is, and it is locked, and it is very dark in this plot of land. Compared to the rest of the city, there's no lights anywhere in that block, more or less.
I don't suppose you can pick a lock.
That would be our compatriots kind of thing, but he's not here.
Yeah, your fearless pack leader who may or may not have gotten lost on the way meeting you.
I think he's
How
lost
high
in
is it?
He's lost in the queue.
Yeah.
How high's the fence?
A little bit taller than you are. Not super high. You could climb it pretty easily.
Is there barbed wire across the top?
No, just regular chain link. The only thing that would really make a difference is whether you were trying to not be observed.
We didn't even ask where they went missing, did we?
No, but it doesn't hurt to check out the place where they've all spent a lot of time. A good starting place.
Okay. Is there a less conspicuous area that we can hop the fence?
I would say maybe roll me intelligence and investigation.
Okay. There we go. 3 successes.
Okay, yeah. You find an area kind of less well lit. Maybe the lights are knocked out in that part of the street. Not very many people walking around, and the both of you are able to make it over the fence pretty easily.
Okay.
And on the edges, it's pretty rough. There's a lot of rubbery, dense hedges that make it a little bit hard to navigate.
Okay. Do we know approximately how big this is? Like, is it a city block or?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
So, decently large, yeah. A lot of territory to cover, especially on foot as humans.
Well, can we shape change without having any rage?
Depends on which form you're... Because you should have 2 rage, just to start with. But it depends on which form you're going to shift into.
Okay, but we should have 2 to start?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we go?
What did you say,
wolf?
Sophie?
I have 2, so...
Yeah, you can go straight to wolf. That is free. There are no rage checks involved in that one.
I'll do that as long as there's somewhere that I can slip into the.
Oh yeah, the shrubbery is dense enough. It's a little bit easy.
Passing by, seeing the change.
Yeah, it's easy enough to navigate once you shift into lupus form, but on foot it was a little bit tricky. But yeah, it is thick enough that you're able to have some privacy to shift and not freak out the neighbors.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'll follow suit.
Okay. So as the two of you change into your lupine forms, where are you going to look? Just kind of searching around the perimeter, or are you looking for anything in particular?
Would we be able to pick up any scent trails or the like that are not that kind of stand out against the background of like shrubbery and such?
Yeah, I would have you roll me either intelligence or wits and survival.
Can I make that as well?
Absolutely.
I got 3 5s.
So no successes.
I had a 5 dice pool, but I rolled 2 crits, like 2 10s, so that's 4, and then a regular, so 5 successes.
Damn. Amira, you're kind of struggling. Maybe get distracted by something. Some other canine sense. Maybe get your attention.
Get away from the fire hydrant.
Yeah.
But John, on the other hand, you are able to really
This is what
get
Gale stalkers do. Like, we're literally hunting here, so
yeah,
I'm down.
absolutely. You smell multiple people, maybe about a dozen, have been here within the last several days. You're not entirely sure how many, but several. As you kind of follow the scents, you come to a natural, like grassy area where there aren't other plants. There's sort of a ring of trees surrounding this grassy area, and because you had a wildly successful roll, you notice that the plants are sort of shaped in strange patterns. The trees have their limbs cut and formed into unnatural looking shapes. You also notice small bones, things that are you wouldn't think that a horticulture club would necessarily leave.
Like, there's bones around, you said?
You would think that they're probably animal bones. They're not human bones. Actually, with 5 successes, you know that they're animal bones. They're maybe birds or some other small animal.
I'll paw at the ground a bit so my ally in crime here sees it.
Okay.
And that Amira will probably break out of the distraction of other canine sense or the fire hydrant, whichever it really is, and kind of trot over and kind of put her nose closer down to get a better look, and again see if there's anything kind of apart from the fact that it's like animal bones and such, and that's already odd enough. You know, is there a way of telling what kind of animal we're dealing with?
Like what kind of animal bones, or what might have? Okay. Like I said, you think probably birds or some kind of small animal that would be native, maybe a raccoon or a squirrel.
Definitely raccoons. Squirrels.
So the animals themselves don't stand out. You know that they're pretty endemic to the area, but the way that they're sort of patterned.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. How are they arranged? The pattern.
Yeah, without even having either of you roll, you recognize this is something ritual. Any more than that, and you would have to roll for it, but you know that this is something ritual for sure. You think maybe Garou? Potentially?
Can I make an occult check on that to see if I know more about it?
Absolutely.
So occult, do you want me to do intelligence or
Yeah, that works.
2 successes?
Okay. You do know that in this area there had been previously a Get a Fenris cairn in the past, but they had all been chased off and the cairn had died. It had lost its connection to the Umbra some time ago. And you think that it's possible this might be related. At least it might be old, because none of it looks fresh. The bones and the way that the plants are kind of shaped and formed, it doesn't seem like that's a recent thing that the horticulture club would have done.
I'm gonna, if there's nothing around here, I'm gonna shift back to. Can we talk in wolf form to one another?
You can sort of communicate, not anything in depth, enough to kind of convey like emotions or basic concepts, but you couldn't have like a conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna, step behind a tree and shift back to.
Where you're at, this glade is pretty almost central to this.
Okay.
We'll call it a park. This development. So you're pretty sheltered at this point from anything on the street. So unless somebody was in there with you and you haven't smelled anything other than the two of you and the people who had been here in the past, nothing is fresh. You think that you're pretty well alone.
So I'm going to shift back to human form.
Okay.
Yeah, likewise.
Just so you know, I just got a message. I guess our chat is set to subscriber only.
That is a great point. Thank you. I can fix that.
I think Emily was trying to leave a comment and couldn't.
Well, then Emily needs to subscribe to Handpop.
That's true.
Okay, fair point. Fair point.
Well, I said I could fix that. 1 second. Yeah. So, what are you two doing now?
I don't know if there's a role for this or anything, but can we sort of sense the Umbra here to see if it's like if this was the Get's former, if this was a Karen that the Get used to use, then the Umbra still might be the gauntlet might be thinner here, is my thinking.
Yeah, you get the sense that it is a little bit easier to potentially cross over, or Amira does have an ability, I believe, to see into the Umbra.
Not the Umbra.
Okay.
But I can augur. Although penumbral,
Yeah.
Penumbral senses maybe perceive the spirit.
Yeah, I was thinking of the penumbral.
Yeah, penumbral senses.
Okay. Remind me what that does exactly, because I don't have it in front of me.
I'm double checking myself because my.
It probably comes from your ghost. That might be a tribe, a gift or something.
I think it might have been. Oh, was it? I thought maybe it was a native one.
I think it's a tribal thing, but I'm. I love how there's just like no database of things to just
Yeah.
quickly search.
I mean, it's still relatively new, this edition, so there's not a lot online currently.
Well, this is neat. As I looked under your tribe, it's not what we're looking for, but it does say here that you get a dice bonus for investigation, occult, or subterfuge pools related to revealing a kept secret.
Yep.
So if this did used to be a Get Karen, you might get a bonus dice on that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Saying.
I'm trying to find. No.
I think I can.
Thankfully, on Humble Bundle, they're actually selling a bundle with this now. So.
Oh, nice. Let's
What's
see.
the ability called again?
Penumbral
Penumbral
Senses.
Sense. Was it a Galliard or was it a tribal thing?
I don't think it's a Galliard thing.
I think it might be a Ghost Council thing.
Oh, no, it is a native gift. Can make an intelligence plus wisdom check against the difficulty of the local gauntlet. If successful, the Garou can perceive and interact with denizens of both aspects of existence without penalty. This does not make them visible to physical entities if used from the Umbra. It does alert spirits to their presence if used in the physical world.
Yeah, so
Oh.
spirits would know we were looking in on them, but
Mhm.
that would at least tell us if we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Could tell us what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I will. Okay, I guess I'll have to make a mental note of the willpower because the character sheet also isn't letting me tick it off. But yeah, I will spend the willpower and I will make that test.
Yeah, it'll let you put a slash or an X in the willpower box, but it doesn't like click for a filler.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Yeah, like the rage ones actually fill when you click on them and things like that.
So int is 3, and then my wisdom is 2, so that's 5 right now. Do I get any kind of bonus because we're trying to reveal secrets here? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll give you a bonus dice for that.
That is 6 successes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, nothing below. No, I tell a lie. At 5, there was 1 5 on the roll, but everything else was a 6 or a 6 plus.
Okay. Well, did you have any 10s?
No, not this time.
Yeah. That's okay. I mean, still 5 successes is pretty impressive. What are you trying to perceive in the Umbra?
I'm trying to perceive if, especially because this was a cairn, I'm trying to discern whether there are any spirits lingering, or whether there are any kind of impressions, trails, that kind of thing that would kind of lead us to a different part of the plot.
Yeah. As you sort of poke around this plot, you notice there's not any spirits near the glade. They are kind of lingering on the outskirts. With 5 successes, I would say you know that they're mostly worm spirits. And as you continue to look, you sense like a thrumming energy coming from the center of the glade. Like a thump thump, thump thump.
Amira's going to kind of cant her head at John and kind of whisper, "There's a lot of taint here, and I can feel something pulsing through my head. It just kind of feels like a heartbeat, a very slow heartbeat coming from the center."
And I'll say, with your penumbral sense, you're fairly certain that where that heartbeat is coming from is likely the dead cairn, now brought back somehow, albeit faint.
How many worm spirits?
We'll say maybe half a dozen or so. but they seem to be keeping their distance. Like, they will not get very close. And since you're not fully in the Umbra, you don't get a great sense of this, but with, your highly successful roll, you notice that you can normally see, the spirits of the plants and things like that as well. Everything surrounding the glade for maybe 50 feet, there are no spirits. Everything is like a dead version of the real world.
But on the edges, there's worm spirits?
And past that 50-foot mark, you can see the spirits of the plants and things. They're, or the umbral reflection of them, I should say, not so much the spirits. But you get sort of the blurry picture that it's almost like an explosion went off in the Umbra.
I mean, if there's worm spirits here, we can go hunt them.
You could.
I think I can cross us over.
Yeah, if you want to attempt to do.
How
I'll
thick
say
do we think?
3 here.
A 3?
About a 3, yeah.
Win on the test allows all participants to pass the gauntlet. Oh, so we do. Yeah, okay. So I can give this a go.
Yeah.
If Amira, you're up to that. Killing worm spirits is sort of what I do. Or I like to believe I do. And I've been forgetting. I guess because we have 2 rage, I should be replacing 2 dice with.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
And 1s and 2s are brutal results on those dice, I think.
They are.
It says you need 2 or more, though, to have a brutal outcome.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I have 3 dice to try to push us through if you want me to try. I might have to spend something, though, to do this right.
Keep in mind, you can't spend willpower to reroll rage dice.
No.
Amira, if you wanted to help, even though I don't think you have the correct right, I would allow you to grant a bonus dice by helping.
Yeah, I would help by providing a reflective service or some such. Honestly, like putting out a phone or something to act as a reflective surface.
Amira, as you pull out your phone, you notice there's no service here. And the screen seems to be blinking, doing strange things.
Please don't tell me the Weaver is interfering with us. She mutters.
Unlikely if the worm's here.
Yeah, one of the 2 is. She shows him the phone and how it's flickering weirdly, and kind of shakes her head in disgust. This might be more difficult than we realised to step through. We should tread carefully.
Okay. I'm gonna start the rite of Shadow Passage.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm rolling Renown and my Occult. And I've got my dice in here for my Rage.
Do you have your bonus dice?
Oh, a bonus dice too?
Yeah, because Amira's helping you.
Aha, see? I was like, shit, I failed. But with the bonus dice, I did get 3 successes. So if the gauntlet here is only a 3, we can push through.
Yeah. As you push through, you can see more clearly now, Amira, and John can see as well. It is completely blasted. The area surrounding where this heartbeat is blackened and dead. There's nothing. The reflections of the the earthly realm seem like they have been blasted away in some fashion.
I'm going to shift to Galabro now that we're here.
Okay.
So
Make
I
your
have to
rage.
do a rage check, right?
Mhm.
Successful.
Okay.
So I don't lose the rage, right?
Right. But you don't gain any either.
Would I lose it if I failed?
Yeah, you would lose a point
One
of rage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So I shift to Galabro. My claw is growing and everything. Sort of looking like a very hairy version of John as he takes on his Stalk the Worm features.
The universal Wolfman almost, where you're not like fully wolf, but you've got a
Yeah,
little more features.
exactly. Would the damage here, like, can this be? Could the worm have done this? Is this like corruption? Is this like?
It does not seem like anything either of you have ever seen the worm do. This is definitely
Okay.
as much as the worm is and isn't natural. This is something different.
I am gonna start sniffing the air and seeing if I can get. Well, unless Amira knows the direction of one of the worm's spirits.
Now that you're both in the Umbra, I mean, Amira probably would have seen some of them kind of in the distance off hiding, so maybe you'd have a little bit better. So yeah, if you wanted to search for them, I would let you, and you can have a bonus dice for that as well.
With Amira's help, you mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What pool would you like me to use? Survival and wits?
Yeah, wits. Yeah.
Okay. And you're giving me a bonus dice from
The assist.
2 from wits, 3 from survival, and then 1 for the assist. And then if I'm pursuing prey, I get another bonus for being a Gale Stalker. Can I add that? Can we assume
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah, I mean,
hunting down.
one of the tenets of the litany is to never, not fight the worm.
So I go into sort of like a very proactive crouch and start tracing steps towards where we think this worm spirit might be.
Okay.
Okay, so I got 2 10s again, so that's 4 successes, and then 1 regular success, so 5 successes.
Fantastic. You two are on a roll tonight. Other than a couple of rolls here and there. Yeah, you do find it tries to run from you as you are kind of stalking it, because they've all been watching you pretty closely.
So I have a thing for that.
Okay.
Let me get it here.
So your stare down?
For being an Arun, I can halt the coward's flight.
There you go. Yeah.
It says the Garou is able to slow fleeing targets by making their legs buckle, their footing soften, and they tire or slip. It does require a rage check, and then it's my resolve and honor versus the spirit's composure survival.
Okay.
So the Garou emits a fearsome howl directed at the visible target. So can we see it when it starts to run?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I howl at it. I assume I can howl in this form, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then if it's successful, a victim of this gift has their movement speed reduced to walking pace as long as they try to escape me.
Okay.
And if it's airborne, targets are pulled towards the ground. The gift succeeds automatically on people, vehicles, and animals. Supernatural victims, such as vampires or another werewolf, must be bested in a resolve, honor versus composure survival test.
Perfect.
So, composure. No, I'm doing resolve. Sorry, resolve. Oh, I'm good at that. And honor, another 2. 3 successes and 1 brutality, but I think I need 2 brutality for anything bad to happen.
Yeah, you sure do.
Yeah, so 3 successes.
Perfect. It got 2 successes, so you do beat it. How do you slow it down? Like, what does John do to slow this spirit?
Is it what type of spirit is it? Can we recognize what it is, or is it an animal spirit or something, or it's a bane? I guess. Like, you tell me what it looks like. I'm not sure, but is it flying? Is my first question, I guess.
I would say it starts out on the ground. It is sort of this almost spider-like, but spiders are a little bit more of a weaver spirit typically. But it sprouts these ethereal wings and tries to take off.
Okay. So I'm gonna just say, like, all the tree spirits and that around, like, start sort of reaching out and grabbing it, the roots sort of snagging its feet.
Absolutely.
Like, after I howl at it, though, I'm gonna look at Amira with like a real sort of it's on gleam in my eye, and then I'm gonna charge at it. I'm not gonna ask questions. Like, I'm gonna attack it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, and
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not even gonna have you roll. I mean, you've slowed it down. It is not a powerful spirit by any means. Are you trying to kill it, or are you just trying to wound it?
I mean, Jeremy says I should probably talk to it, but I think Stocks the Worm is going to just try to kill it.
Yeah. Tell me how you kill it.
Yeah, I'll say I jump onto it with my claws and just pull.
Yeah.
Outward with 2 with like 2 parts.
And, yeah, you're like the people who do the feats of strength where they like rip the phone book in half. But yes. You just do that with a weaver, or not weaver, a worm spirit.
Okay, and I'll have we howled for the night, or can I howl at that point to get another point of rage?
You could. You did howl, but that was for an ability. So
yeah, I'm gonna howl for rage after I kill it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You are in a room.
And then I start sniffing the air again to see if I can find another one.
They're all definitely trying to get away at this point. None of them want to mess with you after watching another worm spirit be brutally murdered.
It's murder.
Well, yeah, none of them seem brave enough to stick around after that.
Yeah, if they run, I'm pleased with that. But they weren't inside the blasted circle either.
Right. They were staying not even like right on the edges of it. They were staying on the edges of this plot of land. Still maybe another 50 or 100 feet at least away from that circle.
So we're in the Umbra. Is this land reclaimed in the Umbra as well? Or is there like an old building here, or?
On this side of the Umbra, yeah, it seems like it's a little bit more, because there was at some point an old building in the real world.
Yeah, it could technically still be here in the Umbra if it hasn't been gone long enough. But
yeah, I think maybe even being a Git of Fenris, it looks like maybe a mechanic shop in the Umbra.
But the shop is outside the blast zone, correct?
Right.
I don't have a mentor or anything. Like, Amira, do you know, like, do you have anything like a mentor or a Garou ally that we could maybe ask for? Because I'm not sure what we're seeing here.
No, the only real ally I have is in the city government, so someone from the mundane world.
But you do both belong to a larger sept.
Yeah, but I thought if Sophia had spent points on like
Sure.
a mentor or something, we might be able to utilize it. That's all. Okay. I'm gonna patrol the edges of this lot in the Umbra just to see if I, we did a search, like we're not seeing any friendly spirits here, right?
Right.
I just want to take a look around to make sure there's nothing in the Umbra that we've maybe missed.
Sure.
And I'm going to kind of follow close behind, because this kind of investigation might not be her strongest suit, but you never know.
You've both got enough occult knowledge that it's not totally out of your wheelhouse. This isn't like a shot in the dark completely, but it's not your expertise for sure.
Did you want me to roll anything to look around?
Oh,
like
yes,
an
please.
investigation? Or do you want me to just...
Actually, you've both had some pretty high successes. I'm not even... Because of that, I'll just continue with those.
Okay.
I think you've both had really wildly successful rolls.
Turn on us.
Absolutely. When you need it most. So once you're on the other side, you kind of poke around, and eventually you realize that there are some things that you hadn't noticed. You guys hadn't gone maybe all the way into the center of the glade, perhaps. Especially with the penumbral sense, maybe you were a little hesitant, but after ensuring that the other spirits in the area aren't going to interfere in any way, the two of you realize that there are some freshly turned, fairly large points in the glade. 5 of them, to be exact.
Are they arranged in any kind of ritualistic pattern, or?
You notice they appear to be in the shape of a 5-pointed star.
Are these like burial mounds?
Are you gonna look into them? Are you gonna dig into the earth at all?
I'm not sure that there will be anything here in the Umbra. We can certainly step back through, I guess. I'm just worried that I won't roll well enough to get us back in if we need to do something.
I will say, I think you all have pretty well found what you're going to find in the Umbra at this point.
Okay. Looking around once more, just to make sure, like, with a really intimidating glare, to make sure that there's no other worm banes nearby. I'll then step us back through then.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do I have to perform the rite and roll again to get us back into the real world?
Yeah, technically.
Okay. Well, wish me luck on that. I definitely asked for help again.
Oh yeah, you can have.
I wouldn't have got us here if Amira didn't help me last time. Well, no botches, but also no successes. So, like, you like it here in the Umbra, right?
Yeah, totally.
I haven't done this that many times. I only learned this ritual like a week ago.
And you've only been a Garou for not very long.
No.
I'll say, even though you didn't roll well, with enough time, you're able to make your way back.
Okay.
It just takes you a little bit longer than it would typically.
All right. Can we see the mounds once we're back in the regular world too?
You can, yeah. It seems like they were trying to cover up, make it not obvious that they had just buried something or dug something up.
Someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
You're still in your Glabro form, right?
Yeah. Do I think it's safe to be in that form here, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys are still, like I said, there's nothing in either the
Well,
Umbra.
I'm gonna dig then. One of
Yeah.
the.
You dig in one of them and you find a corpse, a human corpse.
And we're not getting cell phone signal here, right?
Correct.
We should probably report this to the authorities and just walk away, right?
Yeah, and I can cover our tracks with a certain talisman of mine. But before we go, we should see if there's any identifying markings or documents.
Of course.
So you do. I'll say that Gus gave you a list of the most recent people who had disappeared.
Yeah.
As you search this corpse, nothing seems to be missing. Their wallet, their ID, their money, everything is in there.
How about their body parts? Can we tell what killed them?
You can't tell what killed them just with a casual inspection. If you wanted to investigate a little bit further, you could. This one.
So there's no obvious claw or bite marks? Maybe the get are still around somewhere?
It doesn't seem like it was the get. Or if it was, it wasn't a typical kind of Garou kill. It definitely, there's no obvious signs of how they died. What there is, though, is a missing arm on this corpse.
A missing arm?
Mm-hmm. Are you looking at any of the other?
Yeah, I'm going to start digging up other...
Yeah.
We're going full supernatural Sam and Dean here, digging up graves, I think.
And at this point, Amira's going to see if there's a shovel nearby or something and start digging with that.
I mean, maybe they left some of their tools around.
Yeah, if you look for long enough, you do find some shovels and things. But I think John's got it pretty well covered with his claws, able to dig up.
I'll happily take a shovel. These are new jeans.
As you dig up the other 4,
Yep.
There are 3 other bodies. One of them is missing a leg. None of them have any apparent cause of death without further, or I guess, intense inspection.
Sorry, that one is missing an arm, one is missing a leg.
Mm-hmm. And there's no obvious cause of death.
And the other 2 appear to be intact?
As far as you can tell.
I don't get it. Does the arm look like it was cleanly cut off, or was it torn off?
It's very cleanly. Almost surgical. Is John, you've dug up these 5 spots. Are you digging anywhere else? I mean, you guys did have the sense, especially once you were both in the Umbra, you could sense that beat from the cairn.
No, I'm just wondering if that... Well, then I can dig right in the center, but I'm not sure if it'll show up here or if it's in the... Weren't we hearing that in the Umbra?
So, partially. Whenever Amira had used their penumbral sense, they were able to. It was more on the Umbra, but you think that there could be something else here, potentially.
Okay, we'll dig in the middle. Well, I'll dig in the middle.
Yeah. As you do, you find a soapstone with a glyph carved into it.
Do I recognize the glyph?
It is pretty clearly a werewolf glyph.
Is it a get? A Fenris glyph?
It seems like it could be. You're not sure. I don't think that you're quite familiar enough to know, but maybe that's something you could take back to the Sept.
Okay. I hope we were supposed to remove it.
Well, yeah. Only one way to find out, right? Do you dig anywhere else after finding that?
I'll maybe shift into wolf form and use my keen wolf senses to see if I can, like, essentially smell any bodies buried anywhere else.
Sure. You don't smell any other bodies, but there is something else there. And if you dig around a little bit, you find more of these stones with the glyphs. You also find, let's see, a number, we'll say half a dozen or so, crystal spear points.
Like a weapon, a spear weapon?
Uh-huh.
Made
out
of
of
crystal?
Yeah. So it is pretty clear that this is probably the get Karen that you had heard about. But it doesn't seem like these things are new. It seems like they've been there, just like the way the trees and the other plants were kind of formed and planted. It seems like they are also things that are older, whereas these bodies are relatively fresh.
Okay.
Maybe a day or two old.
So the spear tips in the stone were from another time. Who knows how long they've been buried? But the bodies, a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, like they were killed at the same time?
It seems likely.
Like it was ritual?
Potentially.
But we can't find any sort of cause of death on them, right?
If you wanted to roll, let's see. What would be appropriate here?
I would say something to do with medicine. Maybe.
Medicine?
Yeah, that was my thought, yeah. Maybe intelligence and medicine?
I look.
Or
I look at Amira like.
Could I go with science biology instead? Because I have a biology specialization.
Absolutely.
If I can get this butt cat off me for a sec. Let's roll. It's 4. It's not much. It's not brilliant, but it's. Well, I've got 3 successes and a crit fail.
Okay.
So.
Well, good thing you gotta have 2 crit fails.
Yeah, the crit fail is only important if it's on one of those special dice too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you are kind of more closely inspecting the bodies, you do notice that it seems like they were potentially poisoned, like they died from asphyxiation, not manually. Poison would be your best guess. And you also note that the other 2 bodies that were not obviously missing parts were missing internal organs.
I'm going to relay that to John. This looks like a poisoning based on lack of obvious exit entry wounds and such. But those 2, and she will point at the 2 that are not missing, and armor a leg. She will say.
So we know they're missing internal organs because we can see.
I'll say that as
surgical
Amira,
openings that they were taken out.
Yeah, and Amira having a specialization in biology, maybe even investigates a little bit more closely, more the like CSI type poking around. One is missing their stomach, the other their heart. And as you're more closely inspecting, you also notice that all four of them, there are 2 male, 2 female. They have some sort of ash, you think, that completely covers their lips and goes from the bottom of their nose to the bottom of their chin.
Ash? Like someone's rubbed that on them or something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do we know...
That's disconcerting.
Yeah, do we know any of the tribes that perform such ritual marking on the dead?
With just a casual, you don't. It doesn't seem like anything that any Garou, even the Get, this is a little strange and specific for them.
I'll talk out loud to Amira. I go, okay, so we have a ritual of some type that was performed here in the real world that appears to have had consequences in the spirit world. Mm-hmm. Like, can we talk? Do you think that's a reasonable?
Yeah.
That whatever was done here is responsible for the destruction in the Umbra.
Whatever ritual they carried out, and whether it has something to do with these 4 and their missing body parts, basically it was like detonating a bomb in the Umbra. Which makes sense, because rituals tend to not only...
But it was also held here on the site of an old gettin Karen, which I...
Do you think that might be a misdirect? They're trying to kind of bamboozle
Well, it might...
us?
Well, I don't think that necessarily means it's the Get responsible, but I think that, like, So, like, Karens are places of power that can be accessed. The gauntlet goes thin there, so it's not just us that can access power there. There's other things that can access power at these points. And I don't know if the Get aren't subtle, these bodies would be torn apart.
Yeah.
Also, the Get would not put up with warmth, even though we maybe don't like the Get's
They get in
all of their choices.
Yeah.
One thing's for certain, they do fight the worm, and they would not, if they were here reclaiming this Karen, they would not stand for those worm spirits that you and I found so close to its borders.
Yeah.
I think we should go talk to our sept and see if anyone has any information to shed.
Yes. And we should also try and locate our pack leader.
I'm not going to report these bodies because that only leads to more suspicions about you and I, and if we've left any sort of forensic evidence here of ourselves.
And with that, Amira kind of gives a sly smile and says, "I have that covered."
Oh, good.
And
I like this. I
if
like that you have an... Do you want me to put the dirt back on the bodies before you do whatever it is you're going to do?
I think what I'm about to do is do it for us.
Okay.
And I will say before you do that, Amira, I mean, John would know that this is going to get rid of like any evidence potentially. So if there's anything you want from any of these IDs, anything like that, you should probably take it. And you do notice all of the IDs match people who recently went missing.
Yes, I'm going to take all the wallets or purses or whatever means they had to carry their identification. I'm going to take all that with me.
Okay.
Give me a second, because I was going to use the wind whistle to literally physically, because right at the forgetful record is destroy recorded information.
Ah, that's right.
But the wind whistle that I have can literally make it extremely difficult to track us physically by basically just calling up a windstorm and...
That's a good point.
Maybe you have an item?
I do. I have a talisman.
Ooh. Yeah, John is very impressed by that.
So
I've heard about those things.
It's very like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. I almost took a clave. I almost paid the points. But I couldn't figure out a story way that John would be given the clave. So I was like,
It could still happen.
this was a hand-me-down, a bequeathance from her grandmother, who was more. How can I put it? Of the First Nations, and would have, especially after her first change, Mira was kind of taught in its use.
your grandmother was like us?
Yes. Yeah.
So you knew about this before you became this?
Probably
little,
not. Yeah.
Little glimpses and. Sorry, the cat is absolutely causing chaos. I think.
As cats do.
I think you're going to have to go out.
Yeah, I would say that because it is a little unclear at this point in time how Garou become Garou. I don't think that your family would know necessarily that, each descendant would turn, but I think with your grandmother being of the werewolf variety, she would probably have been keeping an eye out, and when you changed would have been probably the one who explained things to you and was a little bit of a mentor, but I don't imagine she's probably around, or at least not close by.
Did someone? I'll let you do your thing, and then I can ask you questions.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make a wit.
I'm gonna change back to just regular human now.
Okay.
So wits and occult. So wits 3 occult.
Maybe throw all those IDs in a backpack or something.
Right. That way they're all in one place, so it'll look even worse.
It will, but I'll just make sure no one finds them.
Right.
I got 2 failures and a crit success.
You said a crit success?
Yeah, got 110.
Okay. So 2 successes.
Yep.
It only count. I thought it only counts as 2 if you roll. You have to roll 2.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just 1 success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How many failures? How did you get any like nasty failures though on your rage dice? No.
Nope.
Okay. You're okay. Then.
So this increases the difficulty to track us and the pack by half the number of successes rolled by. So by 1 because it's rounded up. Can only be used outdoors and once per session. The effect only applies to pursuits involving the location the talisman was used. So anyone trying to track us down, or
from here, it's 1 harder.
It's 1 harder.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we are gonna fast forward a little bit. The 2 of you make your way to the sept. Your cairn, as we have kind of established, is in the old Packard plant. The sept leader, Silverteeth, has managed to buy this plot of land. So you all own it. You are able to have sort of a cover, maybe you just tell people that you're night guards or something like that if someone sees you make your way in. But you've pretty well established some more secretive paths to get into the sept itself. Once there, what are you guys doing?
Do we have a feeling of who we should be approaching? Like, I feel like Silverteeth is maybe the best choice if she's available.
Yeah. Being a Thayer, that would make sense.
Being a Thurge, and this appears to be there's something going on in the physical world, but the real damage is occurring in the Umbra, which is my concern.
Right. Absolutely. So, as you sort of make your way through this old, decaying building, you've kind of kept some of it. That way, anyone who might sneak their way in doesn't notice that parts of it are a little bit more upkept. The more outer areas still look pretty rough and unkempt. But as you make your way into the area proper where the sept mainly meets, you do find Silverteeth engaged in some tribal business with some other Garou. They might not be super familiar to you. You've probably seen them in passing. But as she finishes, she just turns to the both of you and says, "What brings you?"
We're still sort of the new kids on the block here, but
Yeah. I think we established that your pact was fairly recently created. And maybe by your own choice, maybe you guys were all kind of stuck together.
Is there a table or anything, or are we just in sort of a... Is there an old rusty piece of equipment, or...
Yeah, we'll say she's taken maybe an old rusted out desk that someone might have used back in the day. There is a typewriter on the desk that seems like she has used recently to take notes. But other than that, it's fairly empty in here. There's not a whole lot.
Well, I'm gonna put down the identification in front of her. The ID of the 4 people. I'm gonna be like, I have a friend with the police that asked us to look into something, and we found some ritualistically killed people.
Interesting.
And we're not really familiar with what ritual it was, but it seemed to have a very bad effect on the Umber.
What do you mean a bad effect? How so?
Like a bomb? Like everything was destroyed. We found some worm spirits nearby, which was concerning, and we dispatched one of them, but they didn't seem to want to enter this area that had been affected either.
And she just sort of steeples her fingers and contemplates for a moment and says, likely what the spirit quake was whatever happened there. Where did this take place?
I give her the location.
And she confirms what you already suspected, that is where the Get previously had a cairn established. And did you mention to her about the heartbeat at all?
Amira chimes in at that point and kind of details the feeling of sort of the heartbeat rippling through the Umbra, but also the fact that the bodies, she talks about how their graves were arranged in a 5-pointed star, and that each one had something missing: an arm, a leg, a heart, a stomach, in case the specific body parts have some kind of relevance to any known ritual.
Yeah. She takes a little bit more time and says that this is deeply troubling. This is nothing like the Get. I don't know who or what might have done this, but it sounds like they've reactivated the cairn. For what purpose, I don't know. But this is something we need to absolutely get to the bottom of.
I give her the stone and the spear tips as well.
And she confirms what you suspected, that they appear to be of the Get. But she says it's not likely that they're related.
There's no sign of the Get there, with the exception of these things. But there was no reason to suspect.
There have been rumors that they've been poking around, but it doesn't seem like they've been trying to reclaim it, more just keeping an eye on it. But I don't think the two are related. But whatever caused the spirit quake is troubling indeed.
Spirit quake, you mean like an earthquake in the spirit world?
Precisely. We could feel it, those who are more attuned, even from here. But I wasn't sure what it was until you confirmed.
Do you know anything about a Mr. Muller?
I believe that he was involved in some.
There's been some people taking care of the. None of the bodies were Muller, correct?
Correct.
The ID.
Right. I have names if you would like them, but I don't know if they're necessarily relevant. That's up to you.
Okay. Well, if you. No, that's okay. I'll. Like, I'm sort of new. I look at Silverteeth kind of like. I'm sort of new at this, so I don't know. Could this Mueller guy have? He seems to have taken over the people that are owning that bit of property. Is it possible he could have done this to the bodies, and that he's? Can humans work rites? Can humans work rituals?
Not in the same way that we do. They're a little bit different, but they can absolutely, with the right knowledge.
The body missing the parts, that's not Garou either, is it?
No, that's definitely not. I'm not sure. This is not exactly my area of expertise. I don't know what they could be doing with them, but it's not anything good, that's for sure. But I do think the way you described the ash and the positioning, the location, it seems like this is something ritual for sure. The combination of that and the spirit quake, I think we should be looking for this Mueller. And you know that there was another person who was missing, but you did not find their body, other than Mueller.
So that's 6 missing people in total then, right?
Yep.
So there was the 4 people we found, and then Mueller and one other is missing.
Mm-hmm. And you would know that the other one besides Mueller, her name is Hannah Harcourt.
Hannah Harcourt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Silverteeth kind of explains that really Mueller is not someone that she's super familiar with, other than the project that this horticulture club was working on, and sort of the fact that he had some political ambitions in his past. But she's not that involved in human business typically. He just kind of popped up here and there.
Do you think this is of any value to pursue?
Oh, absolutely. Whether it was Mueller or maybe Miss Harcourt or something else entirely, I think this is of great import. I think whatever it is a threat to the Sept. I don't know how large of a threat. It's disconcerting for sure, but I think your pack can handle this for now. Where is Riff Raff, by the way? Why isn't he with you?
You might be telling us that.
I have a strong suspicion that he is either lost on the queue or on the people mover. I would be exceptionally worried if he was lost on the people mover, because that only goes in one direction.
Yeah, it's just a circle, but leave it to Riff Raff to get stuck on there. would not surprise me. Well, hopefully you can find him. I'm sure he's fine. He does tend to kind of keep his own company most of the time. You know, the Lupus Born are a little strange sometimes.
I'm glad you said it.
Well, as I said, I think either of these humans might be a good lead. Or potentially, maybe even the loved ones of those who went missing.
We may want to inform maybe an anonymous tip to DPD on the grounds of something just we saw someone doing something they shouldn't have there, and honestly the 5 bodies arranged in a pentagram, that's going to raise suspicions. If they take the bodies for examination and such, it's very possible that I could augur into a potential autopsy, so long as I knew what it was, to see if there's anything we missed.
And she, again, is contemplative and says,
I'm not sure we should do that.
Yeah, I agree with John. I think that right now, DPD is more likely to get in your way or be suspicious with the 2 of you poking around. 3 of you, sorry, riffraff, wherever he is.
Well, I also think that the less heat we put on that spot where the ritual is cast, whoever used it may come back.
That seems likely.
But if, like, they don't know that we've disturbed the site. But if the police show up, believe me, everybody in the neighborhood will know the site's been disturbed, because there'll be flashing lights and there'll be police all over the place. Like, 4 bodies will bring a lot of...
We can keep an eye on it, so long as there was... I mean, I'm relatively sure there were reflective surfaces. And even if there weren't any man-made ones, there were going to be puddles when it next rains.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I'm sure.
We can keep an eye remotely.
Well, I'm sure we can spare.
I'm concerned though that the worm was there, but it was, like, it's definitely not a safe place.
I agree. I think that is something we should keep an eye on. I'll dispatch a few of the Ragabash. But I would appreciate if the 2 of you would keep me updated. And let me know when you find riffraff.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we'll see if we can find this Muller.
I had the same thought whenever I read it. So is that where you guys are going, is to look for Muller?
Yeah, I have a couple ways that I could maybe do that. Like, I have law enforcement contacts that maybe would be able to find, if we know anything about his... If he's got a record, we might know his sort of frequent hangouts and things like that. Sure. I also have a contact in public records that might have his current address.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, if you want to use either of those.
Sure. Do you want me to roll, like, charisma contacts or something to try to
that sounds good.
Get me the information?
Yeah, I would even say you could add persuasion to it if you...
Well, I could if I had a dot in persuasion.
that was the question.
I mean, I can also see if I can get in contact with my particular contact and see if this Muller has had any dealings with the council.
Well, and you've had at least 2 people now mention that he had some political aspirations, so it does seem likely.
Okay. So I can roll charisma. Could we turn this on its side a bit, and I could use intimidation on them, I guess.
Yeah.
Be like,
I mean, if you
give me the information, or I'm coming down there.
If you think that it's worth potentially losing that contact.
Probably not. No, I'll just use Can I just use charisma? And do you want me to use just charisma or charisma plus 2 for contacts?
I will do plus 2 for the contact. Might as well use those stuff.
Yeah, most of them are rage dice at the moment.
Yeah, it happens.
So this could go horribly wrong.
And Amira, you can roll.
But it didn't. 4 successes.
Fantastic. Never mind, Amira. Well, I think we're probably good for the moment. Yeah, no, you get his address. Are you looking for any other?
I think Amira's contact might be worthwhile, because if he had political aspirations, we might be able to sort of know what his stance or platform was. We might even be able to know what part of the city he was interested in.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, you do know where this development was in Gratiot, so still more or less in your neighborhood. But yeah, I do think that it is still useful. You could get other information. But with your 4, were you wanting anything other than Muller's address? Either
if they have anything on this hand on Markport, I'll take that too.
Yeah. They also have her address. If you wanted for any of the other missing people, with 4 successes, I'd say you could get their next of kin.
Okay, I'll take it all. If they're gonna give that out, then so be it.
I mean, 2 dots. I think you've got a decent relationship with whoever it is down in records.
Okay. We get all of that.
Maybe you took them out on a date and, didn't go anywhere, but they still have a little bit of a torch for you.
Except my first change and my fiance didn't go so well. So I'm kind of heartbroken. But I'll do my best.
Amira, what about you?
I am going to kind of hit up my contact on the city council for our ward, which will no doubt include that lovely little piece of land, and I'm going to ask about, just kind of slyly ask about Muller, and less intimidation, definitely more persuasion.
Yeah, I was going to say any dots you have in persuasion, you can use that.
Do I get a +1 because I actually have the contact, or
yes,
as an advantage? So
yeah, because you had 1 dot in contact.
Yep. This is absolutely my bread and butter. Okay. I got 3 successes.
Okay. So they say, he's been running for office for years. Started out at the national level, really no success. He just never went anywhere with it, and just kept moving down the ladder. Kind of seems like the only thing that he's been able to worm his way into has been this horticulture club, but
that's a far fall from where he.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go at the national level. Well, a horticultural club will take me.
No, he moved down the ladder slowly. He definitely was an ambitious man. Sometimes you just got to aim a little lower, or a lot lower.
Set the bar down here.
Yeah, from your contact, Amira, that while ambitious, he's maybe not the most charismatic. But again, the same kind of thing, that they had a lot of new members coming in. Once they got this tract of land, it's like they just went to work. They went from kind of a casual community garden type club to they were buying up parcels of land, uh, and still kind of just doing the weekend thing, the weekend warrior. But over time, there have been some rumors that some of them like, left their jobs to do this full time, but there's no money in it. It's not like they were getting paid. Uh, Even some whispers that maybe they were pulling some long hours.
Do you know if they actually managed to just have, say, that one plot of land in our neighborhood, or did they? You say they see that they were expanding. Did they have others that have been registered with the city anywhere?
No, they let you know that they bought as much as they could in the same vicinity so that they could combine them.
Okay. But yeah, leaving their jobs, long hours, it's a little much for a horticultural club. Like, I'd understand if what they were growing was,
Cocaine.
well, I wasn't gonna say it, but if they were growing something that they shouldn't have, it was against state ordinance or federal ordinance for that matter.
And it doesn't seem, just from the rumors, like it was everyone, but at least a few of the more dedicated people really just dove fully into it.
Do you happen to know, like the names of anyone, even if it's just like their first name or something?
Yeah, there was actually there was Joy and a guy named Mitchell. They were pretty hardcore into things.
Okay. I'm just trying to make sure that our good friend Muller isn't, how can I put it, abusing the good nature of these volunteers.
Well, I mean, suspicions are a thing. The other bit of information that they kind of let slip is that Mueller has some ties to a larger organization. The name sounds like one you might have heard before as a front for Pentex. This contact doesn't specifically mention Pentex by name, but this other kind of intermediary sounds like one you've heard of.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, as always, thank you for your time. Don't worry, I'll make sure I send something your way when I get a moment. But do me a favor, keep your head down.
Always.
With regard to Bueller, I mean, do the typical politician thing here, and just kind of keep your head down. And don't poke your head above the parapet too much. Just
I don't even know what you're talking about. We never had this conversation.
Sounds good to me. And she'll kind of give she'll just kind of saunter off. Specifically saunter because she does have the beautiful advantage. So she definitely has that going for her if she needs to use that in like charisma checks. But
hey.
She wasn't specifically using it this time, but you
really are going full bard.
Yeah,
roll to
yeah. I did that without even freaking realizing. I just it's funny the way that happens. But she will take the information she's got about some of these more dedicated followers of Muller
Mhm.
and the fact that there's a Pentex subsidiary in play back to the Sept.
Yeah, and John, the names Joy and Mitchell are two of the bodies you found.
Oh, okay.
You don't have the last names from Amir's contact, but it is an awfully big coincidence that they both match two bodies you found. So what's the next move?
Also, we got hit with a hydrate.
Dang it.
I feel that I don't like all this sneaking around. I like sort of a direct approach. So I'm all for going right for. If we've got Mueller's home address, I'm up for like going right at that.
But you also have Miss Harcourt's.
Yeah, I know, but
one
Mueller
of the
seems to be. I feel like Mueller to me sounds like the head of the snake, and I would just rather bite it off.
Yeah. Amir?
I also understand though that like if there's a more diplomatic way, I'm more than willing to listen. But
Yeah. I was gonna say not everyone is in a room who wants to run in headlong.
yeah. I don't like headlong. I just it's direct.
Sure.
Point A, point B. I just draw a straight line, and that's what I take. But if you'd like to curve, or maybe make a turn, or a chicane through there, I'm fine with that.
Honestly, when it comes to Pentex and their subsidiaries, nah, diplomacy's not going to work. They just don't give a fuck.
I like your way of thinking.
The only way diplomacy is going to work with them is if you're trying to bribe them or convince them that they are utterly screwed and that they should probably stand down. But otherwise,
I think it wouldn't hurt to like sleep the rest of the night out and maybe go in the morning.
Yeah. Recover some of that willpower that was used.
yeah,
Did you use willpower?
I did to use my.
I missed that. I didn't use any.
To use my penumbral senses. Yeah, just one willpower.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
why don't we do that?
Also don't a lot.
He doesn't know we're coming. How could he?
Yeah. Unless.
No, there again, point A to point B. There's no unless. I'm not seeing that at all. But
Well, there is something we could do as a preparation. Muller is a politician at the very least, and there have got to be records regarding where he lives, unless it's a front.
John had been able to get.
we have an address. But I
Yeah.
like what something you said. Like you're sort of a journalist type person. Maybe we could set up an interview to learn about the Horticultural Society.
There's that. I was also considering that it's not that there's got to be reflective surface there, and if I have the address, all I have to do is peer into my own reflective surface, and I can look inside his house, or where or what have you.
Well, we could stake it out. We could stake out in my car.
That's that. Yeah, we have lots of different ways we could do this. The interview.
Also, I mean, Amiri, you would know if you're able to augur, other people might be able to augur you, or the cairn.
Yeah, and that is a problem, especially with what happened.
Well, the Cairn might have protective spirits to prevent that.
Right. They could, but It was a dead Karen.
My
Oh, you mean?
Oh, I thought you were talking about our Karen.
Oh no, the Karen where you were investigating could have been augured. You don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and saw us while we were there, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
especially when West Melbourne.
I don't think he's Garou, though. I really don't.
Doesn't mean that he couldn't have some sort of way to remotely view.
Okay,
but-
well, let's before we go home and to sleep it off, let's take a drive over to his house.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you like Kid Rock.
Let's just say I don't agree with his politics.
Oh, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a shit about that. As I turn the volume up on the car, like.
Oh,
I'm here for the noise.
The music ain't bad, especially some of the older stuff compared to the
Yeah.
newer stuff. But I would rather not be stuck in a room with that man.
yeah.
Fair.
But you know, he's
But,
local.
yeah, if you grew up in Detroit, you listen to Kid Rock.
No, I grew up more when Eminem was up and coming.
Okay, well, that's also an acceptable Detroit player. We could compromise on Kiss.
There
With
you
little
go.
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah,
Although they're not from there, they're mostly from New York.
No, but they sung the song. I mean,
you could also just go really old school. Motown is from Detroit.
I don't think John does not strike me as Motown guy.
same with Amira. She could be tempted to listen to Alice Cooper.
Yeah, except Alice Cooper also has some shitty politics anymore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm just listening to the music here, people. I'm just listening to the music.
So you make your way to Muller's house. It's pretty nondescript from the outside.
I'll turn the stereo down when we get close.
Stake out with the music.
Bow, what a bow, bang it, dang, dig it, dig it. Let me turn that down.
That's a good way to get the cops involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the outside, nothing really stands out.
We totally hit a drive-through, by the way. Over there.
Get some
I feel like John being cop, a stakeout. I think he just needs the fast food.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm a Garou now. I have amazing metabolism. I have no worries about eating a couple Big Macs or whatever.
John went very quickly from dad bod to just ripped.
Yeah.
While on medical leave.
The only question I have is which drive-through are we going through?
What do you want to go through? I'm Canadian. I don't know all your drive-throughs there.
Exactly.
Not White Castle. I'll tell you that.
Damn it! Damn.
Do you want to do White Castle? Maybe John's a White Castle type of guy.
I'm the only one in our household who likes White Castle. Apparently, I'm weird.
I've been to White Castle once, and it was a horrible experience, and it had nothing to do with the food. I'll tell you about it sometimes. It's creepy. It's really creepy.
As much as they're really more of a Chicago thing, there's a couple of Portillo's branches, so Chicago dogs or like Italian beef sandwiches, always a good thing, and they have drive-thrus.
That's
Okay.
fantastic.
I'm down for that. I mean, I think you went a little higher class than I was looking for. Or am I wrong?
Oh no, it's still fast food. Trust me.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. No problem. We get some sandwiches and a whole bunch, like a ridiculously large pop.
and chocolate cake shakes.
Ooh. I don't know. I might be lactose intolerant. Is that? Wouldn't that be funny? A Garou that was lactose intolerant.
Right.
Anyways,
quickly though,
we find a place if we can park across the road from his house or just down the street from his house.
Yeah, I'd say probably down the street's the smarter move.
Can we see it? And
Yeah.
does it look like anyone's home?
No, doesn't look like anybody's home. You do see that In the letterbox, there are several envelopes, enough that it seems like they're almost overflowing to the point where maybe the mailman would come by and take them and stop bringing the mail for a little bit.
I think if I'm listening to Kid Rock, I totally have to be driving a Camaro. I'm just saying. I feel like that all fits.
I mean, it makes sense.
I mean,
I have two resources. I think I can afford a Camaro.
I mean, it's maybe not the newest or nicest, but
No, exactly. I wanted to. It'll be a 1990 Camaro, something like that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Amazing.
I'm really liking this character. I want to live his life.
Yeah. I mean, from down the road, you can't see quite as much, but other than the mail, I mean, nothing looks odd. Looks maybe a little unkempt. Not messy per se, but like it's not been recently cleaned, maintained.
I grab the car mirror, the rearview mirror, and I turn it so it looks at a mirror. I'm like, there you go, do your thing.
And she is going to. I'm going to call it up in the book real quick so I know what exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have to burn anything for this ritual, right? I can't get the smell of the car if you do that.
No, I just need a reflective surface here and a reflective surface in there.
Okay.
I mean, it's a 1990s. Somebody smoked in there at some point, and it's still smelling.
Oh, fair.
It might have even been John at one point. Who knows?
I feel like with everything John's been through. No, the car is definitely older than John. I'm living vicariously here. I want to be a young guy.
Okay. Intelligence and wisdom. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use Augur, and that is a critical success. That is 2 10s, a 7, and a 6, so that's
Six
Six.
successes.
6 successes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Go buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Right. The way you guys have been rolling tonight. Yeah. What specifically are you looking for, and where?
I'm going to
Just see if he's home maybe first.
Yeah, that's going to be my first point of call. Is like, is there anyone inhabiting the building? And for as far as like which reflective surface, I'm going to see if there's like a TV or a TV screen or something in the living room. That would be the most sense. If not,
Yeah.
if not like a bedroom mirror of some sort.
That makes sense.
You might not want to see what goes on in this man's bedroom. I'm just saying.
No.
Well, who knows? You might not want to see any of it. It's a good question. Trying to find what kind of gift was this? Was this your?
It's a ghost gift.
There it is. Okay.
So the ghost council are the sneaky guys that keep looking into things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. We'll say you start out. There's a small window on the front door. You're able to see inside into the entryway in the living room, and it is a disaster. There are newspapers, trash, all kinds of detritus piled up along the walls. It also says you can see and smell. It smells horrible. It smells of body odor, urine, and feces.
No, you can't hear or smell.
Oh, can't?
Only see. Yep.
Okay, because I thought it.
Maybe we get a wind coming down the street the right way. We're like, what the hell is that smell? Sorry. I'll be like right beside Amira being a nuisance. Like, can you see him?
I can't see. I haven't seen him yet, but it's like
It's filthy, isn't it?
it's filthy. Like there's no one. It's actually like no one's lived in here. It's. I got a feeling that.
Does it look like no one lives in there, or does it just look like someone has overlived in there? Like, is he a hoarder?
Rick.
Well, as you continue to peer through, there's not like a TV or anything, but there's enough junk in there that there are reflective surfaces. You see that there is a couch that seems like it's been used as a place to sleep pretty frequently. There's a laptop, and that's about all you can see.
Are we in a crappy part of town?
Your neighborhood is a crappy part of town, yeah. It's maybe not the worst.
Oh,
but
is he in our neighborhood?
Close enough.
Okay.
Yeah, Gratiot's not necessarily like the bad part of town, but it's not great. I mean, it is Detroit, so statistically, 50% of all murders in the state of Michigan happen in Detroit. So
Detroit has seen better days. Absolutely.
Yeah.
crime is on a downward trend. It's actually getting better slightly.
She kind of casts one eye over to John. There's just so much junk in there. But I think I managed to spy a laptop. I don't know if that's power, but...
Can you see any, like, occult items or, like, things that may have been used in the rituals?
Do I spy anything like that, Rick?
Let's see. Good question. There is a cork board. Lined with a sheet of paper. How? Well, you got six successes, so yeah, you can see. There are 9 names on it. I'm sure John would have by this point relayed, and you were searching the bodies as well. 5 of them are names that are very familiar to you. 4 of them you found dead. 1 of them is Hannah Harcourt. And the others, because John, you had gotten some other people who had gone missing recently that may or may not be related. Some of them look familiar, some of them don't.
Okay, so if he's not here, I think we need to... I have Hannah Harcourt's address. We should go check on her. We should go get proof of life.
Yes, absolutely.
I am in a Camaro, so we floor it.
I will say before you take off, you see that 5 names are crossed off. One of them is Hannah.
Oh shit. Okay.
But again, proof of life. You don't know whether she is or isn't alive.
Well, the cross off would say.
But the other 4 you found their bodies, and you didn't find hers.
I don't know. What do you think is better? Should we stay here for him to come back, or should we go to Hannah's?
Let's go to Hannah's. I think as far as trying to pin him down, we have other methods. Like, I think doing a piece on the horticultural club would kind of be a good route to kind of get his attention to have a chat with him.
Yeah, and you could potentially even get him in a more neutral or beneficial place.
If he wants to sort of a life in the light, like in the light, then he might take an opportunity at an interview.
Absolutely.
Very, very quickly.
And it's probably safer for everyone in a more public or neutral location than busting into somebody's house.
I'm down. Let's go to Hannah.
Perfect. Well, I would say that's probably a good place for us to wrap then, as you have. We'll see how we meet up with our fearless leader next time.
I like it.
yeah, thank you guys for coming and playing.